Alright, well, I'm going to do a video on these rifles today. These are two rifles I have. These are model 1917, US model 1917 30 caliber rifles. These are pretty interesting rifles. These are two of them that I have. This bottom one here, it's made by Remington. As you can see there, it says US model of 1917 Remington. And it does have, let's see, it does have a Remington barrel in it, and you probably can't make it out, but the barrel date is 1/19, so January 1919. So that's sort of correlates with the you know, the receivers are produced and then kind of put in boxes, moving around different things for assembly. The barrel dates probably correspond more with the actual assembly date. So this rifle was assembled probably sometime, you know, a little bit after January of 1919. And then this top one here, this is a US model of 1917. It's an Eddystone, and it's got the original Eddystone barrel in it. And this one, the you know, the end of it, this one's got a little bit of corrosion and stuff on it when I got it, but it's Eddystone 8/18, so August 1918. And these are really interesting rifles. There's actually another company that made these, Winchester, made some, and you know, I don't have a Winchester version, but these are just two really neat rifles. These were actually the most produced rifle during World War I. Far surpassed, you know, the Springfield model 1903 in production. And originally the British, you know, this was made on basically their pattern 14 rifle. The British had a pattern 14 rifle. During World War I, they couldn't, you know, they weren't going to be able to keep up with production, so they enlisted the help of Winchester, Remington, and then Eddystone, which is actually, it was a subsidiary of Remington, to make the model 14s for them. Of course, chambered in 303 British. It was originally meant to be chambered in like a 264 rimless cartridge, I think, which sounded like a pretty awesome cartridge, really high powered, but just for logistics they decided to stick with 30-06. So anyways, the United States, whenever they entered the war, they realized that there's no way they're going to be able to make production at Springfield of 1903s, and it would take way too much time and money to tool over you know, Remington and Winchester and Eddystone. So basically they just decided that they were going to produce this rifle, call it 1917, and then chamber in 30-06 instead of 303 British. And like I said, these were the most widely produced rifles. And there's a lot of interesting history about these. I've got this book, I've had it for a while, you know, I've been kind of reading it, read most of it a couple years ago, and it kind of goes into most of what I was talking about. But if you look at total production, basically there you can see the total production by manufacturer. Winchester made about 545,000, Remington 646,000, and then Eddystone 1,328,000 or so. So there was about 2.5 million of these made altogether, and it was by far the, you know, the most common rifle in World War I by, you know, American forces and a lot of Allied forces too. And famously, or not famously, you know, Sergeant York was issued this rifle. And I don't know, there is stories like in the movie he had a 1903, and then his son later, I think in a memoir, wrote that he didn't like the sights on these and traded this for 1903, and that's what he used or whatever. But then other historians say no, this is the rifle that they were issued in France, you know, and this is what he had or whatever. So I'm not really sure about that, but anyways, it served, and it served a lot during World War II. And then also some of these were, you know, brought back and refinished for World War II, but never really saw action. Like this rifle right here, it's actually got the where it was reassembled in proofs. And if you look at this, it's got this RIAFK up here, Rock Island Arsenal, Frank Crack, inspector mark, and then it's got the AA Augusta Arsenal on the other side of the stock right there. So, and it's you know, this is the Eddystone, and it's been stripped and or sandblasted, reparkerized, and you know, it was re-updated at some point for World War II. It's actually got a Winchester bolt on it, as you can see there, a Winchester bolt. I think all the other parts are Eddystone, barrels Eddystone, and all like that. I've taken them apart. I've looked them over real well. I've had them for, you know, a couple years. I've just never made a video on them, but really excellent rifles. Really just amazing history with them, you know. And I made a video a while back about, you know, checking your milsurps before you shoot them. And you know, this one I've never shot because it the headspace, it's got excessive headspace on it. It closes on a field gauge, so anything that closes on a field gauge, I don't mess around with it. I've thought about taking it to a gunsmith from time to time and, you know, seeing if they could adjust the headspace on it, but I just haven't messed with it. But this is probably all original, you know, original stock, and I don't know, looks like somebody scratched something in the stock right there. I just like the gun just the way it is myself, you know. And I would like to, you know, yeah, shooting it would be cool, but I mean, it's just you know, pretty much original. Everything's original stock, original barrel, and you know, it's never been rebuilt, refinished or anything, so the headspace is going to be, you know, excessive. But that's the Remington, and you know, there wasn't that many of these made, about 545,000 of them. So, but as you can see, there's the rear sight, and for some reason, you know, from Sergeant York's son in his memoir or whatever wrote that he didn't like the I don't know if he didn't like the ladder sight on it or what, but he didn't like, but these are heavier guns. This is a bigger gun. It's quite a bit heavier, you know, than a 1903 Springfield. The action is really beefy, you know. These have been sporterized over the years and rebarreled to fire some really, you know, heavy duty cartridges. So I mean, they're heavy duty, no doubt about it. But this one I can shoot. It closes about, it doesn't close all the way on a field gauge. It closes about that far on a field gauge. So, you know, the head space on this one's not excellent either. But you know, it doesn't close fully on a field gauge, so it's okay to shoot. And I've shot it a few times, the Eddystone. So I'm gonna take it out probably, and I got some HXP ammo, and put a few rounds through it and see what I can do with it. So we'll do that, and hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. These are two truly iconic, great service rifles, World War I service rifles. Very interesting history. You know, most people don't know, you know, that this was by far the most, you know, produced. I mean, the 1903s, I think they only made like during the war like 800,000, or they had like 800,000 total, and there was over, you know, 2.5 million of these, you know, out there fighting in World War I. So it was just a really neat rifle, really interesting history. That's what I love about you know, collecting these. I like the history. I like, you know, reading about them and how they were developed, and you know, how they were used and different things like that. So I'm gonna go put a few rounds through this one later and see how that turns out.